Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the sheer weight of life? The endless cycle of stress, anxiety, and the constant pressure to have everything under control? Picture this. You're standing by a river, watching the water flow naturally, carrying leaves, branches, and stones along its path. Now, imagine trying to control that river, redirect its flow, stop its movement. The absurdity of it is clear, right? Yet this is what we often do in our lives. We strive to control the uncontrollable, and in the process we drain ourselves, ending up more stressed and powerless. But what if there was a different way? What if, instead of fighting the current, we learned to let go, to surrender to life's flow, and trust in its natural course? What if the true path to peace, happiness, and fulfillment isn't in control, but in the art of letting go? Today, we're going on a journey to explore one of life's most profound secrets: the art of letting go. Together, we'll uncover the timeless wisdom of the Stoics and see how ancient philosophy can lead us to a life of serenity, resilience, and true freedom. Imagine for a moment that you're no longer struggling against life's current. Instead, you're moving with it, navigating its twists and turns with grace and ease. The stress, anxiety, and need to control all melt away, replaced by a deep sense of peace and acceptance. This isn't just a dream. It's a reality we can achieve by embracing the art of letting go. So, are you ready to embark on this journey? To discover how the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus can transform your life? Let's dive into the profound philosophy of Stoicism and uncover the secrets to living with peace, purpose, and freedom. This journey could change not just how you see the world, but how you see yourself forever. Part 1. The illusion of control. Life often tricks us into believing we can control everything. From our careers to our relationships, we convince ourselves that with enough effort, we can bend reality to our will. But this belief is not only false, it's the root of much of our stress and suffering. The truth is, many aspects of life are beyond our control, and our obsession with controlling them only leads to frustration and despair. Think about that ocean below. No matter how powerful you might feel, you can't control those waves. They'll crash, recede, and flow as they please. Trying to control them would only exhaust you, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and powerless. This is the illusion of control. False belief that we can direct the uncontrollable forces in our lives. This illusion traps us in a cycle of anxiety as we struggle against forces beyond our grasp. Whether it's trying to force a relationship to work, pushing for a career opportunity that just isn't happening, or obsessing over the future, these are all manifestations of this illusion. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus remind us that true freedom comes not from controlling the external world, but from mastering our internal responses. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom teaches us to shift our focus from what we can't control, the external circumstances of our lives, to what we can control, our reactions, attitudes, and choices. The illusion of control is deeply embedded in our culture. We're often told that if we work hard enough, we can achieve anything. While effort and determination are valuable, this mindset can lead us to believe that if something isn't going our way, because we're not trying hard enough. This belief ignores the reality that many factors in life are simply beyond our control. Consider something as simple as the weather. No matter how much you plan for clear skies, the weather can change unexpectedly, disrupting your plan. Does this mean you failed? Of course not. The weather is a classic example of an uncontrollable force. It will change as it pleases, regardless of your desires. This brings us to a crucial Stoic principle, the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. According to the Stoics, the key to a peaceful life lies in recognizing this distinction. They taught that our energy should be focused on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, our character, and that we should accept with equanimity what we cannot control. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, often reflected on this principle in his writings. In his meditations, he reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This quote encapsulates the Stoic approach to the illusion of control. By focusing on our inner world, we gain the strength to face life's uncertainties without being overwhelmed. But recognizing the illusion of control isn't just about understanding it intellectually. It requires a shift in mindset, a practice of letting go of our need to control everything, and learning to trust the flow of life. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive. It means accepting that there are limits to what we can influence, and that by releasing our grip on what we cannot control, we can focus more effectively on what we can. Imagine you're holding onto a rope that's being pulled by a strong force. The harder you grip, the more your hands burn and the more exhausted you become. But if you release the rope, tension disappears and you regain your peace. That's what letting go feels like. A relief, a return to balance, and an acceptance that you are not, and never were, in control of the rope's pull. In our daily lives, this might look like letting go of the need to control others' opinions of us. We can't make everyone like or approve of us, no matter how hard we try. The more we obsess over others' perceptions, the more we lose ourselves in the process. But by letting go of this need, we free ourselves to live authentically, focusing on our own values and actions. This principle also applies to our professional lives. We might spend years trying to control every aspect of our career, aiming for the perfect job, the perfect performance, the perfect recognition. But careers, like everything else, are influenced by countless factors beyond our control. Market conditions, organizational changes, other people's decisions. By focusing too much on these uncontrollable elements, we can lose sight of what truly matters. Personal growth, our contribution, our integrity. Instead, the Stoic approach encourages us to focus on our efforts and leave the results to fate. This doesn't mean we shouldn't strive for success, but rather that we should define success in terms of our own actions and character, not the outcomes that are ultimately out of our hands. By doing so, we reduce our stress and anxiety, finding peace in the knowledge that we've done our best. As we continue this journey into the art of letting go, it's important to remember that the illusion of control is just that, an illusion. It's a mental construct that we've built up over time, reinforced by societal pressures and personal fears. But like all illusions, it can be dispelled by the light of wisdom and awareness. The Stoics offer us a powerful tool to do this. The practice of focusing on what we can control and releasing our attachment to what we cannot. This practice isn't easy. It requires constant reflection, self-awareness, and the courage to let go of our deepest fear. But the rewards are immense. Peace of mind, resilience in the face of adversity, and a life lived in harmony with the natural flow of events. If controlling everything is impossible, what should we do? The answer lies in the power of choice. Part 2. The power of choice. In a world full of uncontrollable forces, what can we truly control? The Stoics teach us that while we may not control the events of our lives, we always have control over one thing: our choices. This concept is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and serves as a foundation for living a life of purpose and peace. Every day, we face choices, some small, others life-altering. How we respond to the challenges and opportunities that arise is entirely within our power. This idea is encapsulated in the Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control, which Epictetus outlines in his work, The Enchiridion. He teaches that we should focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, intentions, and actions, and let go of what is not, such as external events and other people's opinions. The power of choice is liberating. It reminds us that we are not victims of circumstance, but active participants in our lives. This doesn't mean that we can control everything that happens to us. Far from it. But it does mean that we have the power to choose how we respond to whatever life throws our way. This choice is where our true freedom lies. Let's consider a common scenario. You're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. The situation is stressful, and your initial reaction might be frustration, anger, or anxiety. But remember, the traffic is beyond your control. What is within your control is how you choose to respond. You can choose to let the frustration consume you, or you can choose to accept the situation and use the time to practice patience, perhaps even reflect on the meeting or listen to an audiobook. This simple example illustrates the profound impact that our choices can have on our lives. By choosing how we react, we can transform even the most challenging situations into opportunities for growth and learning. The Stoics understood that our power lies not in changing the world around us, but in changing how we perceive and respond to it. One of the most powerful aspects of the Stoic approach to choice is the emphasis on intention. It's not just what we do, but why we do it that matters. The Stoics believed that virtue, living in accordance with reason and nature, is the highest good. Therefore, the choices we make should be guided by virtue, not by external rewards or recognition. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on this in his meditations. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This is a call to action, a reminder that our choices define who we are. Instead of debating or worrying about how we are perceived, we should focus on making choices that align with our values and principles. The power of choice also plays a crucial role in overcoming challenges. Life is full of obstacles, many of which we cannot predict or prevent. But the Stoics remind us that we always have a choice in how we approach these challenges. We can choose to see them as insurmountable barriers, or we can choose to view them as opportunities for growth. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, emphasized this idea in his writings. He believed that adversity is not something to be feared, something to be embraced. He wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." This perspective shifts the focus from what is happening to us to how we can use our challenges to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. But making virtuous choices isn't always easy. It requires constant self-awareness and reflection. Stoics practice this through daily self-examination, asking themselves if their choices aligned with their values and if they were living in accordance with their principles. This practice, known as prosophe, is a vital tool in maintaining the discipline of making choices that reflect our true self. This practice of making conscious, intentional choices is at the heart of living a Stoic life. It's about taking responsibility for our actions and recognizing that, no matter the circumstances, we always have the power to choose our response. This responsibility is both empowering and humbling. It reminds us that we are the architects of our character and our destiny. As we continue our exploration of the art of letting go, it's important to remember that our choices are the building blocks of our lives. By focusing on what we can control, our decisions and actions, we empower ourselves to navigate life's uncertainties with grace and resilience. The Stoics offer us a roadmap to making these choices wisely, guided by virtue and reason, and in doing so, they show us the path to true freedom and peace. Part 3. The burden of forcing. In our pursuit of success and happiness, we often fall into the trap of forcing outcome. We push and strain, trying to bend the world to our will, believing that if we just try hard enough, we can make things happen the way we want. But this approach, while seemingly proactive, is often more harmful than helpful. It creates unnecessary stress, frustration, and ultimately, a deep sense of dissatisfaction. Forcing outcomes is like trying to push a boulder uphill. The more you push, the more resistance you encounter, and the more exhausting the effort becomes. And even if you manage to move the boulder a little, it's likely to roll back down at the first opportunity, leaving you feeling defeated and drained. The Stoics understood the futility of forcing things to happen. They taught that instead of trying to control everything, we should focus on aligning ourselves with the natural flow of life. This doesn't mean giving up on our goals or ambitions, but rather approaching them with a sense of flexibility and acceptance. By letting go of the need to force outcomes, we free ourselves from the burden of unrealistic expectations and open ourselves to the possibilities that life offers. Seneca wrote extensively about this in his letters. He believed that the key to a peaceful life is to accept things as they are, rather than constantly struggling against them. He wrote, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." This quote highlights the difference between those who accept the natural flow of life and those who resist it. The willing are led smoothly, while the unwilling are dragged, kicking and screaming, into the same outcome. The burden of forcing outcomes is particularly evident in our relationships. We often try to change others, to make them fit our expectations or ideals. But relationships, like all aspects of life, involve two independent wills, and trying to force another person to change only leads to conflict and resentment. Imagine a couple arguing because one partner wants the other to change a particular habit. The more they push, the more resistance they encounter, leading to a cycle of frustration and hurt feeling. But what if, instead of trying to force change, they approach the situation with understanding and acceptance? They might find that the relationship grows stronger, not because one person changed, but because both learn to accept each other as they are. When both partners learn to accept and respect each other's differences, they create a safe space for love and growth. Forcing outcomes is also common in our careers. We might have a specific vision for our professional life, and we push ourselves relentlessly to achieve it. But careers, like relationships, involve many factors beyond our control. The economy, company decisions, other people's action. When we focus too much on forcing a specific outcome, we often miss the opportunities that arise along the way. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the importance of staying open to life's possibilities. In his Meditations, he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This Stoic wisdom teaches us that obstacles are not something to be forced through or avoided, but rather embraced as part of the journey. By accepting and working with them, rather than against them, we find new paths and possibilities that we might not have seen otherwise. The burden of forcing outcomes also manifests in our personal growth. We often set rigid goals for ourselves. Be more disciplined, more successful, more happy. While self-improvement is important, the Stoics warn against becoming so fixated on specific outcomes that we lose sight of the process. Growth is a journey, not a destination. And by forcing ourselves to meet specific milestones, we can end up feeling discouraged and disappointed when we don't achieve them as quickly or perfectly as we hoped. Instead, the Stoics encourage us to focus on the process of growth, on making consistent, small steps towards improvement, rather than trying to force ourselves to change overnight. This approach is not only more sustainable, but also more rewarding, as it allows us to appreciate the progress we're making, rather than constantly striving for an unattainable ideal. The practice of letting go of the need to force outcomes is closely tied to the concept of acceptance. It's about recognizing that while we can and should make efforts towards our goals, the outcomes are often beyond our control. By accepting this, we can focus on what we can do, our actions, our attitudes, our intentions, and let go of the rest. This doesn't mean we become passive or resigned to our fate. On the contrary, it means we become more active in the areas we can influence, while letting go of the stress and anxiety that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. This shift in focus not only reduces our burden, but also allows us to approach life with a sense of peace and purpose. Part 4. The Wisdom of Stoicism. The wisdom of Stoicism offers us profound insights into how to live a life of virtue, peace, and fulfillment. At the core of this philosophy is the understanding that much of what we experience in life is beyond our control, and true wisdom lies in knowing how to navigate these uncontrollable aspects with grace and equanimity. One of the foundational principles of Stoicism is the idea of living in accordance with nature. But what does this mean? For the Stoics, living according to nature means recognizing and accepting the natural order of the world, including our own nature as rational beings. It's about understanding our place in the world and living in harmony with it, rather than trying to force life to conform to our desires. Key aspect of Stoicism is the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. The Stoics believe that true freedom comes from focusing our energy on the things we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes, and letting go the rest. This idea is beautifully encapsulated in a quote from Epictetus. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. This reminds us that our perception of events, rather than the events themselves, determines our emotional state. Imagine a stormy day. You can't control the weather, but you can control how you respond to it. You can choose to grumble and be upset, or you can choose to accept the storm, perhaps finding ways to enjoy the day indoors. This shift in perspective is at the heart of Stoic wisdom. It's about choosing how we respond to life's challenges. Another central tenet of Stoicism is the concept of amor fati, or the love of fate. This principle encourages us to embrace our circumstances, no matter how challenging, as necessary parts of our journey. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on this in his Meditations, where he wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This isn't about passive resignation. It's about actively embracing life's challenges, understanding that they are opportunities for growth. When we love our fate, we stop resisting what happens to us and start seeing it as part of the fabric of our lives, woven together with purpose and meaning. Mindfulness, or prososha, is another essential practice in Stoicism. Stoics believe that by maintaining constant awareness of our thoughts, actions, and emotions, we can ensure that we are living in accordance with our values. This mindfulness allows us to catch ourselves when we start to slip into irrational or harmful thinking and gently guide ourselves back on course. Seneca, in his letters, often wrote about the importance of self-examination and reflection. He believed that by regularly reviewing our actions and motives, we can deepen our understanding of ourselves and make better choices in the future. Seneca advised, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." This quote embodies the Stoic commitment to continuous self-improvement. For the Stoics, life is a journey of constant learning and growth. They believe that by reflecting on our daily actions and making small adjustments, we can gradually align ourselves more closely with our ideals and values. But Stoicism isn't just about introspection and self-discipline. It's also about focusing on what truly matters in life. The Stoics believe that many of the things we chase, wealth, fame, power, are ultimately fleeting and insignificant. Instead, they urged us to cultivate inner virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, which are the true sources of a meaningful and fulfilling life. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of the impermanence of life and the importance of focusing on what truly matters. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This poignant reminder urges us to live each moment with intention and purpose. Focus on what is essential, and to let go of distractions, pull us away from our true path. As we delve deeper into the wisdom of Stoicism, it becomes evident that this philosophy offers a powerful framework for navigating the complexities of life. Whether we're facing personal challenges, managing relationships, or pursuing professional goals, the principles of Stoicism provide us with the tools to live a life of integrity, resilience, and purpose. The beauty of Stoicism is its practicality. It's not just a set of abstract ideas, but a way of living that can be applied in every aspect of our life. The Stoics believe that by focusing on what we can control, accepting what we cannot, and living according to our values, we can find true peace and fulfillment. Peace that is not dependent on external circumstances, but rooted in our inner strength. As we continue our exploration of the art of letting go, we'll see how the wisdom of Stoicism can help us not only accept the losses and changes that are an inevitable part of life, but also embrace them as opportunities for growth and transformation. By letting go of what we cannot control, we open ourselves to the deeper wisdom and peace that come from living in harmony with the natural flow of life. Part 5. Seneca and the acceptance of loss. Loss is an inevitable part of life. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or the passing of time, We all experience moments of grief and sorrow. These moments can leave us feeling empty and lost. However, the Stoics, particularly Seneca, teach us that loss, while difficult, is not something to be feared or resisted. Instead, it is to be accepted as a natural part of life's journey. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about the nature of loss and how we can learn to accept it with grace and dignity. In his letters, he often reminded his readers that everything we have in life is temporary, and by recognizing this, we can free ourselves from the fear of losing what we hold dear. He famously wrote, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." This quote encapsulates the Stoic understanding that life is full of loss and suffering, but by accepting this reality, we can find peace and strength. Accepting loss is not about suppressing our emotions or denying the pain of grief. It's about acknowledging our feelings and allowing ourselves to experience them without letting them overwhelm us. The Stoics believed that by maintaining a broader perspective and understanding the larger context of life, we can navigate grief with resilience and wisdom. Seneca also taught that loss could be a powerful teacher, helping us develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. He believed that by reflecting on our losses, we can gain valuable insights into the nature of life and the impermanence of all things. In his essay on the shortness of life, Seneca reminds us, "Life is long if you know how to use it." This quote serves as a powerful reminder that the true value of life is not in its length, but in how we choose to spend our time. By accepting the inevitability of loss, we can focus on making the most of the time we have, living each moment with intention and purpose. The acceptance of loss also involves letting go of our attachment to material possessions. The Stoics believe that wealth and possessions are not inherently bad, but becoming too attached to them can lead to suffering. Seneca often wrote about the dangers of materialism and the importance of living a simple, virtuous life. He advised, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This quote highlights the Stoic understanding that true wealth is found not in what we possess, but in our ability to live contentedly with what we have. The acceptance of loss is also closely tied to the Stoic practice of memento mori, the reflection on mortality. The Stoics believed that by regularly contemplating our own mortality, we can develop a deeper appreciation for life and a greater sense of urgency to live in accordance with our values. Seneca often reflected on the brevity of life and the importance of living with purpose. He wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." This quote encourages us to live each day as if it were our last, to let go of regrets and unfinished business, and to focus on what truly matters in the present moment. As we explore the acceptance of loss in the context of the art of letting go, it becomes clear that letting go is not just about releasing our attachment to what we have lost, but also about embracing the lessons that loss can teach us. By accepting loss as a natural and inevitable part of life, we can find a deeper sense of peace and resilience, and we can learn to live with a greater appreciation for the present moment. Part 6. The beauty of letting go. There is a profound beauty in the act of letting go. It is the beauty of releasing our attachments, expectations, and fears, and embracing the flow of life with an open heart. Letting go is not about giving up or resigning ourselves to fate. It is about finding the courage to trust in the natural order of the world, to accept what is, and to move forward with grace and resilience. The beauty of letting go lies in the freedom it brings. When we let go of our need to control everything, we free ourselves from the burden of unrealistic expectations and the constant stress of trying to force outcomes. We open ourselves to the possibilities that life offers, and we allow ourselves to experience the present moment fully, without the weight of the past or the anxiety of the future. The Stoics understood the beauty of letting go as an essential part of living a virtuous and fulfilling life. They taught that by releasing our attachment to external things, Whether it be wealth, status, or the opinions of others, we can focus on what truly matters: our character, our values, and our inner peace. Epictetus often spoke of the importance of detachment and the freedom it brings. He taught that true happiness comes not from possessing things, but from understanding that we do not truly own anything, not even our own bodies. He said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few want." This quote captures the Stoic belief that contentment and happiness are found not in accumulating more, but in wanting less. The beauty of letting go also lies in the peace it brings. When we release our attachment to outcomes and accept life as it is, we find a deep sense of inner peace. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances. It is a state of being that comes from within, from knowing that we are living in accordance with our values and that we are doing our best with what we have. Seneca often wrote about the tranquility that comes from letting go of our desires and fears. He believed that by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we can achieve a state of calm and serenity that is unshaken by the ups and downs of life. He wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." This quote reminds us that the key to peace and happiness lies in living fully in the present moment without worrying about what may or may not happen. Letting go also allows us to experience the beauty of change. Life is constantly changing, and while this can be unsettling, it is also what makes life so rich and vibrant. The Stoics believe that by embracing change rather than resisting it, we can experience the fullness of life and all its possibilities. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the beauty of change and the impermanence of all things. He wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." This quote highlights the Stoic understanding that change is the only constant in life, and that by accepting this, we can shape our experience of life through our thoughts and attitude. The beauty of letting go is also found in the freedom to be ourselves. When we let go of our need for approval, our fear of judgment, and our attachment to societal expectations, we free ourselves to live authentically. We can make choices that align with our true values and desires, rather than trying to fit into a mold that doesn't reflect who we really are. The Stoics believed that living in accordance with our true nature is the highest good. They taught that by being true to ourselves, we can live a life of integrity and fulfillment. Epictetus advised, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This quote encourages us to define our own path, let go of external pressures, and to take action in alignment with our true selves. As we continue our journey into the art of letting go, it's important to remember that letting go is not a one-time event, but a continuous practice. It requires constant reflection, self-awareness, and the courage to release what no longer serves us. But the rewards are immense: a life of greater freedom, peace, and joy. In the next section, we will explore practical steps to embrace the flow of life and how we can integrate the wisdom of letting go into our daily lives. By doing so, we can live more fully, more authentically, and more in harmony with the natural order of the world. So how can we apply the beauty of letting go to our daily life? Part 7. Practical steps to embrace the flow. The art of letting go is not just a philosophical concept. It is a practical approach to life that can be applied in our everyday actions and decisions. By learning to embrace the flow of life, we can navigate its challenges with greater ease and resilience, and we can experience a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. The Stoics offer us a variety of practical steps to help us embrace the flow of life. These steps are grounded in the principles of mindfulness, acceptance, and intentional living, and they provide a roadmap for integrating the wisdom of letting go into our daily lives. One of the first steps to embracing the flow of life is to cultivate mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment, aware of our thoughts, emotions, and surroundings without judgment. By practicing mindfulness, we can develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and our reactions. We can begin to let go of the need to control everything. The Stoics practiced mindfulness through regular self-examination and reflection. They believed that by regularly checking in with ourselves, we can ensure that our thoughts and actions are aligned with our values and principles. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of mindfulness in his Meditations. He advised, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, think, to enjoy, to love. This quote encourages us to start each day with a mindful awareness of the beauty and opportunities that life offers. Another practical step to embrace the flow of life is to practice acceptance. Acceptance involves recognizing the limits of our control and letting go of the need to force outcomes. It is about trusting that life will unfold as it should, and that we have the strength and wisdom to navigate whatever comes our way. Epictetus often spoke of the importance of acceptance in his teachings. He believed that by accepting what is beyond our control, we can focus our energy on what we can influence, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. He advised, do not seek to have events happen as you want them, but instead want them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well. This quote reminds us that acceptance is not about resignation, but about aligning our desires with reality and finding peace in the present moment. In addition to mindfulness and acceptance, the Stoics also emphasized the importance of intentional living. Intentional living involves making conscious choices that align with our values and principles, rather than being driven by external pressures or impulses. It is about living with purpose and direction, and letting go of distractions and trivial pursuits. Seneca often wrote about the importance of intentional living in his letters. He believed that by focusing on what truly matters, character, our relationships, and our inner peace, we can live a life of greater fulfillment and meaning. He advised, begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. This quote encourages us to approach each day with intention and purpose, to let go of regrets and anxieties, and to focus on what we can do in the present moment. Another practical step to embrace the flow of life is to develop resilience. Resilience involves the ability to adapt to change and bounce back from setback. It is about letting go of the fear of failure and trusting in our ability to learn and grow from our experience. The Stoics believed that resilience is a key component of a virtuous life. They taught that by cultivating inner strength and flexibility, we can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and confidence. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of resilience in his Meditations. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action, but stands in the way, comes the way." This quote reminds us that obstacles are not something to be feared, but opportunities for growth and transformation. Finally, one of the most important steps to embracing the flow of life is to cultivate gratitude. Gratitude involves recognizing and appreciating the good things in our lives, even in the midst of challenges and difficulty. By practicing gratitude, we can shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, and we can develop a deeper sense, contentment, and joy. The Stoics believe that gratitude is essential for a happy and fulfilling life. They taught that by focusing on the positive aspects of our lives, we can develop a greater sense of appreciation and wonder for the world around us. Epictetus often spoke of the importance of gratitude in his teaching. He advised, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This quote encourages us to cultivate a mindset of gratitude, to let go of envy and dissatisfaction, and to focus on the abundance in our lives. As we integrate these practical steps into our daily lives, we can begin to embrace the flow of life with greater ease and resilience. By cultivating mindfulness, acceptance, intentional living, resilience, and gratitude, we can navigate life's challenges with a sense of peace and purpose, and we can experience the beauty and freedom of letting go. Part 8. Finding inner peace. Inner peace is something that many of us strive for, but it often feels elusive. We search for it in external achievements, in relationships, in material possessions, but no matter how much we acquire, true peace remains out of reach. The Stoics teach us that inner peace is not something to be found outside of ourselves, but rather something that we cultivate within. The key to finding inner peace lies in letting go of our attachment to outcomes, our need for control, and our fear of the unknown. When we release these burdens, we create space for peace to enter our lives, and we can experience a sense of calm and contentment that is not dependent on external circumstance. The Stoics believe that inner peace comes from living in accordance with our values and principles. They taught that by focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we can cultivate a sense of peace that is unshaken by the ups and downs of life. Epictetus often spoke of the importance of inner peace in his teachings. He believed that true peace comes from within, from understanding that we are responsible for our own happiness and well-being. He said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." This quote reminds us that the path to inner peace involves letting go of what we cannot control and focusing on what truly matters. One of the most important aspects of finding inner peace is the practice of self-awareness. Self-awareness involves being in tune with our thoughts, emotions, and reactions, and understanding how they influence our experience of life. By cultivating self-awareness, we can identify the sources of our stress and anxiety, and we can begin to let go of the thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve us. Seneca often wrote about the importance of self-awareness in his letters. He believed that by regularly examining our thoughts and actions, we can develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and make better choices in the future. He advised, "The greatest impediment to living is expectancy, which depends upon tomorrow and wastes today." This quote encourages us to let go of our anxieties about the future and to focus on living fully in the present moment. Another key to finding inner peace is the practice of detachment. Detachment involves letting go of our attachment to external things, whether it be material possessions, relationships, or the opinions of others. By releasing our attachment to these things, we free ourselves from the fear of losing them, and we can experience a deeper sense of peace and contentment. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of detachment in his meditation. He believed that by letting go of our attachment to external things, we can cultivate a sense of inner freedom and peace. He wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." This quote reminds us that true peace comes not from possessing things, but from being able to let them go without regret or fear. The Stoics also taught that finding inner peace involves accepting our own mortality. The practice of memento mori, or the reflection on death, encourages us to live each day with a sense of urgency and purpose, to let go of our fears and regrets, and to focus on what truly matters. Seneca often wrote about the importance of accepting mortality in his letters. He believed that by contemplating our own death, we can develop a greater appreciation for life and a deeper sense of peace. He advised, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." This quote encourages us to live each day as if it were our last, to let go of regrets and unfinished business, and to focus on what truly matters in the present moment. Finding inner peace also involves cultivating a sense of gratitude. Gratitude allows us to focus on the positive aspects of our lives, even in the midst of challenges and difficulties. By practicing gratitude, we can shift our perspective from what we lack to what we have, and we can develop a deeper sense of contentment and joy. The Stoics believed that gratitude is essential for a peaceful and fulfilling life. They taught that by focusing on the positive aspects of our lives, we can develop a greater sense of appreciation and wonder for the world around us. Epictetus often spoke of the importance of gratitude in his teachings. He advised, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This quote encourages us to cultivate a mindset of gratitude, to let go of envy and dissatisfaction, and to focus on the abundance in our lives. As we integrate these practices into our daily lives, we can begin to cultivate a sense of inner peace that is unshaken by the challenges and uncertainties of life. By focusing on what we can control, practicing self-awareness and detachment, accepting our mortality, cultivating gratitude, we can experience the deep peace that comes from living in harmony with the natural flow of life. In the final section, we will explore how the Stoic wisdom of letting go can guide us in living a life of purpose and meaning, and how we can leave a legacy that reflects our true values and principles. Conclusion: legacy and living with purpose. As we come to the end of our exploration of the art of letting go, it's important to reflect on the legacy we leave behind. The Stoics teach us that our legacy is not measured by our wealth or achievements, but by the impact we have on others and the values we uphold. The practice of letting go is not just about finding inner peace. It's about living a life of purpose and meaning, and leaving behind a legacy that reflects our true selves. By letting go of our attachment to external things, we can focus on what truly matters: character, our relationships, and our contributions to the world. The Stoics believed that the greatest legacy we can leave is one of virtue. They taught that by living in accordance with our values and principles, we can inspire others to do the same, and we can contribute to the greater good of humanity. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of leaving a legacy of virtue in his meditations. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This quote encourages us to focus on living a virtuous life, rather than seeking recognition or approval. Another important aspect of our legacy is the impact we have on the lives of others. The Stoics believe that our relationships are one of the most important aspects of life, and that by cultivating kindness, compassion, and understanding, we can leave a positive and lasting impact on the people around us. Seneca often wrote about the importance of kindness and generosity in his letters. He believed that by treating others with respect and compassion, we can create a ripple effect of goodness that extends far beyond our own lives. He advised, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This quote reminds us that every interaction we have is an opportunity to make a positive difference in the world. Finally, the Stoics teach us that our legacy is also shaped by the way we face our own mortality. By accepting death as a natural part of life, we can approach the end of our lives with peace and dignity, and we can leave behind a legacy that reflects our true values and principles. Epictetus often spoke of the importance of facing death with courage and acceptance. He believed that by accepting our mortality, we can live each day with a sense of purpose and urgency, and we can leave behind a legacy, strength, and resilience. He said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." This quote encourages us to live fully and authentically, without fear or regret, and to leave behind a legacy of courage and integrity. As we conclude our journey into the art of letting go, it's important to remember that our legacy is not just about what we achieve, but about how we live our life. By embracing the wisdom of the Stoics and practicing the art of letting go, we can live a life of purpose, peace, and fulfillment, and we can leave behind a legacy that reflects our true selves. Letting go is not just about releasing our attachment to external things. It's about embracing the flow of life, living in accordance with our values, and making a positive impact on the world. By doing so, we can create a legacy that endures, one that inspires others to live with courage, compassion, and integrity. This concludes our exploration of the art of letting go, embracing the flow of life. We hope that the wisdom of the Stoics has inspired you to live with greater peace, purpose, and fulfillment, and that you will continue to practice the art of letting go in your own life. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and may you find the strength and wisdom to embrace the flow of life with an open heart. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more videos.